सैयद इम्तियाज जलील जी।
Question number 324.
माननीय मंत्री जी।
जवाब पटल पर रखा है।
Honorable Speaker, sir, we all know the state of affairs that the economy that we are witnessing today, where our GDP has gone, and in this background, it is very important that global trade and industrialization needs a major boost. Sir, I'm here. Needs a major boost. Sir, in this regards, what I would like to ask the Honorable Minister is that, which are the specific industry and trade sector that you are focusing on to increase the global trade? And how are you going to strengthen the SME sector so that they also play a major role in boosting up the global trade? And most importantly, sir, how are you going to identify backward regions, and what are you going to do to identify those backward regions? Say, for instance, regions like Marathwada, where you can identify those regions, strengthen them and support them so that they too also can participate in the global trade.
Honorable Speaker, sir, since the original question related to the high-level advisory group, I'll start with the fact that this was a group which was constituted of very high-level experts. Dr. Surjit Bhalla is an eminent economist, our present Foreign Minister, Dr. Jaishankar, several people from the legal field, from industry associations, small-scale and medium-scale representatives, and they've come out with a series of suggestions. And the important thing to note is that every nation has some competitive and comparative strengths. That's the original Michael Porter theory, that you cannot do everything yourself. There are certain areas where you have strength. As a nation, you are competitive and you are able to reach out. Gem and jewelry is one sector. There's another question further about it. Where India has competitive strength, we've been able to do very well. Footwear is an area we've been able to do very well. There's handicrafts is another area. Small and medium enterprises, micro and tiny units have done very well. So government is continuously engaged in assessing. In this report also, several sectors have been specifically identified on which the report has given vertical suggestions. Textiles, for example, pharmaceuticals, garments. Electronics is a thrust area which is providing jobs to a lot of people after Honorable Minister of IT has given a thrust to domestic manufacturing of electronic products. Medical devices is going to be an area of the future because of Ayushman Bharat. Now that more and more people are getting free medical care, we are going to make sure that medical devices and along with that medical electronics comes to India. So obviously every nation determines which are the areas of strength. We are focusing on those areas of strength. Government is continuously engaging with stakeholders, with domestic industry, understanding what are their pain points. And while on the one hand, we are ensuring that this nation cleans up all the old issues about bad loans in the banks, when we clear up all the old problems, all the accumulated problems, we are also preparing the nation to work with regional value chains, global value chains, engage with the world on equal and reciprocal terms. I can assure the members of the House through you, sir, the government is very conscious that India will have to expand its export basket. The HLAG has given very good suggestions for the country as a whole and for specific sectors, how we can double our exports, and the government is taking action on each one of those suggestions. Case in point being the income tax rates, which the committee had suggested should be brought down to 18%. I'm happy to share with you that the government has brought down the rate to 15% instead of 18% for new domestic manufacturing that is set up. So government is very conscious and continuously working for a better future for our MSME and domestic sectors.
माननीय सदस्य।
Sir, my question to the Honorable Minister is, how are you going to deal with the tough competition that is coming from China? Sir, when our reform process started, smaller Far East countries, say for instance Thailand, Bangladesh, Vietnam, they were nowhere in the race. But even now we are facing a tough competition from these Far East countries. So what is it that the government is doing? You said you have lowered down the tax rates. But now, with the state of economy that we are passing through, is the government considering further lowering of taxes? Or at least the industry wants to know, are you spending on infrastructure as much as the government had promised? Thank you.
One small point that was left out in his earlier thing was about Marathwada. I'm happy to share with the members of the House and through you, sir, that this government has given particular thrust to Marathwada. And I was amazed when I was visiting Marathwada in one of my visits. I found that in 70 years after independence, Marathwada had not received one single large central project, not one single in the whole region. And I was happy that I could participate with the then Honorable Chief Minister, Devendra Fadnavis ji. And as the Honorable Member may be aware, now a large manufacturing unit is coming up in Latur, in Marathwada, that the railways is setting up, which will help to meet the needs, growing needs of Maharashtra's infrastructure, the metro services, suburban services. Obviously, infrastructure is the backbone of any economy. There's that old saying where the American president had said, did America make the highways or the highways made America? The sense of that statement was that on the back of infrastructure, not only do you boost the economy, but then you give an impetus to all other associated and related activities, logistics cost comes down, you become more competitive. The country is working towards making ourselves more and more competitive in the international region. I'm sure Vietnam, Indonesia will also do their work. We will have to do better than them. And we are deeply engaged in studying what is the work that other countries are doing. Income tax was one move in that direction. Several other initiatives are being taken by the Honorable Finance Minister and all the other colleagues in government under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi. And I can assure you that India will stand tall when it comes to engaging with the rest of the world, and India will stand tall when we have to compete with any region of the world. China is gradually losing its competitive edge. India can gain a lot of manufacturing which moves out of China. We are focused on certain sectors which are looking to move out of China. Honorable Minister Ravi Shankar ji himself has met with several companies from across the world who have talked to him about their plans to come to India and set up manufacturing in India. I am engaged with a number of companies across the world. Honorable Prime Minister met several companies in the United States and other parts of the world where he visits to encourage investment coming into India, which is why FDI flows have gone up by 50% in the last 5 years over the previous 5 years. And I'm confident in the coming 5 years, we'll further see a great boost in domestic manufacturing and inflow of capital for investment.